I wake up in a hospital room that smells like antiseptic and lilies, my head pounding like someone took a hammer to my skull. The fluorescent lights are too bright, the beeping monitors too loud, and I have absolutely no idea where I am or how I got here. You're awake. A woman in scrubs rushes to my side, her face flooding with relief. Thank God. We were so worried, Jaiwan. Jaiwan. That's apparently my name, though it feels foreign on my tongue when I try to say it. The doctor, Dr. Lee, according to his badge, explains that I was in a car accident 3 days ago. Traumatic brain injury. Retrograde amnesia affecting the past 5 years of my memory. 5 years. Gone. Just like that. Your husband has been here every night, the nurse says gently, adjusting my fore. He'll be so relieved you're conscious. Husband? I'm married? Before I can process that bombshell, the door opens and a man walks in. He's tall, devastatingly handsome in an expensive black suit, with sharp features and dark eyes that seem to see straight through me. His presence fills the entire room, commanding, intense, unmistakably alpha. The kind of alpha that makes every omega instinct I have simultaneously want to submit and run. Jaiwan. His voice is rough, like he hasn't slept in days. He crosses the room in 3 strides and takes my hand, and I flinch involuntarily. He freezes. Something painful flashes across his face before he carefully releases me. I'm sorry, I whisper, feeling guilty for reasons I don't understand. The doctor said I have amnesia. I don't remember anything. His jaw tightens. You don't remember anything about us? This stranger is apparently my husband, and I don't remember a single moment we've shared. I'm sorry, I say again helplessly. He looks away, and I catch the briefest glimpse of devastation before he masks it with a neutral expression. Don't apologize. It's not your fault. He composes himself with visible effort. My name is Kang Miho. We've been married for 3 years. 3 years with this man, and he's a complete stranger to me. Over the next few days, I learn the basics. Kang Miho is apparently some kind of businessman, though the way nurses whisper about him and security guards straighten when he passes suggests there's more to the story. We live in a penthouse in the most expensive part of Seoul. We have no children. And according to my medical chart, I'm an omega, though I have no memory of presenting or what that even means for my life. My friend Haeun visits on the 3rd day. They're a beta nurse who works at this hospital, and unlike everyone else, they don't treat me like fragile glass. You really don't remember anything? They ask, studying my face carefully. Nothing from the past 5 years. It's like that part of my life just doesn't exist. Haeun bites their lip, like they're debating whether to say something. Jaiwan, before the accident, you called me. You sounded scared. You said you needed to tell me something important about Miho, but then the line went dead. Ice runs down my spine. What did I say? You didn't get the chance. The accident happened right after. They lean closer, voice dropping. I need you to be careful. Miho isn't just a businessman. The door opens and Miho walks in. Haeun immediately goes quiet, plastering on a professional smile. I should check on my other patients, they say quickly, squeezing my hand in what feels like a warning before leaving. Miho watches them go, his expression unreadable. Then he turns to me with a carefully controlled smile. The doctor says you can come home tomorrow. I've had your room prepared exactly how you like it. My room. Not our room. We don't share a bedroom? I ask hesitantly. Something dark flickers in his eyes. You prefer your own space. I've always respected that. That night, after Miho leaves, I can't shake the feeling that something is wrong. The way people react to my husband, with fear poorly disguised as respect. The cryptic warning from Haeun. The fact that apparently, even before my amnesia, I kept my distance from the man I married. I sneak out of bed, ignoring the dizziness, and find the bag of personal items the hospital collected from the accident. My phone is smashed, unusable. But there's a small notebook tucked in the side pocket of my jacket. With shaking hands, I open it. The pages are filled with my own handwriting, dates, names, observations. And on the last page, circled multiple times in frantic pen strokes. Miho is lying. Find out what happened the night of. The entry cuts off abruptly, unfinished. What was I trying to remember? What did I discover that was important enough to document in secret? The next morning, Miho arrives to take me home. He's brought fresh clothes, helps me into a wheelchair despite my protest that I can walk, and is so attentive that it almost feels genuine. Almost. As we're leaving, I see him. Another man, equally handsome but with a cruel edge to his smile, watching from across the hospital lobby. When he sees me notice him, he raises his hand in a mocking wave. Miho's entire body goes rigid. "Don't look at him," he says quietly, urgently. "Jaiwan, whatever happens, don't look at him." But I already have, and the stranger mouths something that makes my blood run cold. "Welcome back, brother-in-law. Did you miss me?" Cliffhanger. As we drive away, I catch Miho's reflection in the window. His carefully controlled expression has cracked, and what I see underneath terrifies me: rage, possessiveness, and something that looks almost like guilt. Who was that man? And why do I get the feeling that my amnesia might not have been an accident at all? The penthouse is massive, all floor-to-ceiling windows, modern furniture, and cold elegance that feels more like a museum than a home. Miho gives me a tour, pointing out rooms I supposedly decorated myself, showing me closets full of expensive clothes I don't remember buying. "This is your room," he says, opening a door to reveal a beautiful space done in soft creams and blues. "You have your own bathroom, your own study. Everything you need." I notice he doesn't show me his room. The master suite at the end of the hall remains pointedly closed. "Why do we sleep separately?" I ask directly. Miho's jaw tightens. "That's complicated. You asked for space after." He stops himself. "When you're ready, I'll explain everything. But right now, you need to rest and recover." But I'm tired of everyone treating me like I'll shatter. "I want to know now. Please." He looks at me for a long moment, something painful and raw in his expression. "We had a fight. A bad one. You moved into the guest room and asked for time. I was giving you that time when the accident happened." "A fight? About what?" Why can't anyone give me straight answers? Over the next week, I try to piece together my life. Taejin, Miho's right-hand man, is a constant presence, ostensibly for my protection, but it feels more like surveillance. He's polite but watches me with sharp, calculating eyes that make me nervous. The penthouse has an entire wall of photographs, documenting what should be my life. Wedding photos where I'm smiling but my eyes look distant. Vacation pictures where Miho's arm is around me but there's visible space between our bodies. Images that tell the story of a marriage that looks perfect on the surface but feels hollow underneath. One evening, while Miho is out on business, I find his study unlocked. I know I shouldn't snoop, but the notebook from the hospital burns in my mind. Miho is lying. The study is immaculate except for one thing: a locked drawer in his desk. I'm about to give up when I notice a key taped under the desk lamp. My hands shake as I unlock the drawer. Inside, files. Dozens of them. Business dealings that are clearly illegal. Money laundering, weapons trading, territory disputes with rival families. Kong Miho isn't just involved with the Mafia. He runs it. And there, at the bottom, a file with my name on it. I open it with my heart hammering. Medical records. Suppressants prescribed in increasing doses. Notes in Miho's handwriting. Jay's heat's becoming irregular. Doctor suggests reducing stress. Need to keep him away from family business. Heat suppressants? Why would I be taking such strong medications? Then I find the photographs. Me, clearly unconscious or drugged, being carried by Miho. Another of me in what looks like a hospital bed, hooked to IVs. A medical report dated 6 months ago. Emergency heat crisis. Patient required immediate intervention. Alpha bond necessary for survival. But the word sends chills through me. Find anything interesting? I spin around. Miho stands in the doorway, his expression unreadable. How long has he been watching? "You're in the Mafia?" I breathe. "Yes." He doesn't deny it, just steps into the room and closes the door behind him. "I was going to tell you. When you were ready." Ready for what? To learn my husband is a criminal? To remember why you married me despite knowing exactly what I am. His voice is quiet, intense. "You think I trapped you, don't you? That I forced you into this marriage? Did you?" The question hangs between us. Miho crosses the room slowly, like he's approaching something precious and breakable. No. You chose this. You chose me, knowing everything. You chose this life. I don't believe you. I know. Pain flashes across his face. The Jaiwan who loved me is gone. You're looking at me like I'm a stranger. Like I'm a monster. Are you? He doesn't answer. Instead, he reaches past me and pulls out another file from the drawer. Read this. It's the truth. All of it. And then you can decide whether you want to stay or leave. He walks out, leaving me alone with the file. Inside, I find everything. A detailed account of how we met 5 years ago when I witnessed one of his deals go wrong. How he was supposed to kill me to protect his identity, but couldn't. How I was running from my own abusive Omega trafficking ring that my family had sold me to. How Miho offered me protection in exchange for information about the trafficking operation. How somewhere in that dangerous dance we fell in love. And then, the documents from 6 months ago. My own handwriting in a journal I don't remember keeping. I saw Miho kill someone tonight. Not in self-defense. Not for business. It was personal, brutal, and he enjoyed it. I'm scared of what he's becoming. Scared of what I've become by staying. But I'm more scared of what his brother Sung will do if I try to leave. Miho says he's protecting me, but I think he's keeping me prisoner. I need to find a way out before I lose myself completely. My hands tremble as I read my own words condemning the man I apparently loved. The next morning, I confront Miho at breakfast. Your brother, Choi Sung, the man at the hospital. Miho's fork freezes halfway to his mouth. What about him? Why did you tell me not to look at him? Because Sung is dangerous. Miho sets down his fork carefully. He's my half-brother, and he's been trying to take over my organization for years. 6 months ago, he tried to use you to get to me. How? Miho's jaw works like he's physically forcing the words out. He tried to claim you. To force a bond that would break ours and bind you to him instead. You fought back, and in the struggle, you got hurt. That's when your memories started becoming unreliable. You started having nightmares, paranoia. The doctors said it was trauma. I stare at him, trying to process this. So the accident? Wasn't an accident. His eyes are dark, haunted. You were driving to meet with Haeyun when Sung's men ran you off the road. They wanted you dead, or at least hurt enough that I'd be distracted. Vulnerable. The room spins. Nothing makes sense. Everyone's lying or telling half-truths, and I'm trapped in the middle with no memories to guide me. I want to talk to Dr. Lee, I say finally. The family doctor. I want the truth about my medical history. Miho nods slowly. I'll arrange it. That afternoon, Dr. Lee arrives at the penthouse. He's nervous, keeps glancing at Miho like he's waiting for permission to speak. Tell him everything, Miho orders, then leaves us alone. Dr. Lee takes a deep breath. Jaiwan, your amnesia. It's not entirely from the accident. 6 months ago, you asked me to help you forget. You were having severe psychological trauma from the attempt on your life. You begged me to suppress your memories of that night. My blood runs cold. What? I gave you medication that would make those specific memories hazy, dreamlike. It was supposed to be temporary, to help you process the trauma gradually. But combined with the head injury from the accident. He looks genuinely distressed. The amnesia became much more extensive than either of us anticipated. So some of my memory loss was intentional? You were desperate. You said you couldn't live with what you'd seen, what you'd experienced. You said if you had to remember Sung's hands on you one more night, you'd... He stops, composing himself. I thought I was helping you. After he leaves, I sit in my room, trying to piece everything together. I chose to forget. Some part of me was so traumatized that I literally asked to have my memories erased. But what exactly did I see that night? What did Sung do that was so terrible I couldn't bear to remember it? That night I dream. Fragments of memory surface like broken glass. Sung's face, too close to mine. His alpha pheromones choking me. Miho bursting through a door, covered in blood. Gunshots. Screaming, my screaming. And then Miho's voice, broken and desperate. Stay with me. Please, Jaiwan. Don't leave me. I wake up gasping and Miho is there. He must have heard me crying out because he's sitting on the edge of my bed, keeping a careful distance but clearly ready to help if I need it. The nightmares, he says quietly. They're coming back. Tell me what happened that night, I demand. The real story, not the sanitized version. Miho's silent for a long moment. Then, Sung didn't just try to claim you. He tried to kill me first. Set up an ambush, had me cornered. You somehow found out and came to warn me. You saved my life, but Sung caught you trying to escape. By the time I got to you... He stops, his hands clenching into fists. By the time I got to you, he'd already started the bonding process. If I'd been 5 minutes later, you would have been his forever. I had to do things I'm not proud of to stop it. Things you witnessed. Things that gave you nightmares for months afterward. You killed him, I whisper. It's not a question. No. I wanted to. God, I wanted to. But you begged me not to. Said it would make me into the monster everyone already thought I was. So I let him live. Miho's voice is bitter. And he's been trying to finish what he started ever since. Cliffhanger. Before I can respond, my phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. Having fun playing house with my brother? He hasn't told you the best part yet. Why he married you in the first place. Ask him about the debt your father owed. Ask him about the contract. I look up at Miho, whose face has gone pale. What contract? I ask, my voice shaking. What debt? Miho stares at my phone like it's a weapon pointed at his chest. The silence stretches so long I start to think he won't answer at all. There was a contract, he finally admits, his voice hollow. Your father owed my organization money. A lot of money. When he couldn't pay, he offered you instead. The words hit like a physical blow. Sold me? Not exactly. It was more like a trade. You would marry me, join my household, and the debt would be forgiven. Miho won't meet my eyes. That's how we met. Your father brought you to my office like you were a business transaction. I feel sick. My own father sold me to the Mafia to clear his debts? But that's not the whole story, Miho continues quickly. You were already running from that trafficking ring. Your family was involved. They were going to sell you to the highest bidder. When your father brought you to me, you saw it as an escape route. A way to get protection from both your family and the traffickers. So it was a business arrangement. My voice sounds dead even to my own ears. You got an Omega to strengthen your position, clear a debt, and I got protection. That's all we were. At first, Miho admits, and the raw honesty in his voice makes me look at him. But Jaiwan, you have to understand, I fell in love with you. Really, truly fell in love. It stopped being about business the moment you looked me in the eye during our first meeting and said, if you're going to own me, at least have the decency to let me keep my dignity. Despite everything, I can almost picture it. Me, terrified but defiant. Him, probably surprised that an Omega would dare talk back. You were so fierce, he continues, a ghost of a smile on his lips. So determined to maintain control over your own life even when everything had been taken from you. I'd never met anyone like you. And slowly, over months of living together, of learning about each other, it became real. For both of us. How do I know that's true? How do I know you didn't just manipulate me into thinking I loved you? The question seems to hurt him more than anything else I've said. You don't. Without your memories, you have no way to know what was real and what wasn't. And that's my fault. He pulls something from his pocket, a small USB drive. This is every video from our home security system for the past 3 years. Watch them. See how we were together. Then decide if you think what we had was fake. Over the next 2 days, while Miho buries himself in work, I watch the videos. Hours and hours of footage showing our life together. And it's not what I expected. Yes, there are moments of distance. Arguments where I clearly don't want him near me. Instances where the camera catches me looking scared or uncertain. But there are also moments of genuine intimacy. Miho cooking breakfast while I sit on the counter, laughing at something he said. Us curled up on the couch watching movies, my head on his shoulder. A clip from our wedding night where he's carefully asking permission before every touch, making sure I'm comfortable. One video in particular breaks my heart. It's from about a year ago. I'm clearly in heat, curled up in bed, and Miho is sitting beside me, wiping my forehead with a cool cloth. I'm sorry, video me whimpers. I know you don't want, I know this is just obligation. Stop, video Miho interrupts gently. Jaiwan, look at me. This is an obligation. Taking care of you isn't some burden I'm forced to bear. I love you. Do you understand? I love you. Even though I was just a debt payment? You were never just anything. You're everything. Video me starts crying, and Miho holds me through it, scenting me gently to ease the heat pain. The intimacy, the tenderness, it's undeniable. But the most damning video is from 6 months ago. The night everything went wrong. The camera in the hallway catches me leaving the penthouse late at night, looking panicked. Then, hours later, Miho bursting through the door carrying me. I'm unconscious, clothes torn, visible bruises on my arms and neck. The look on Miho's face is pure devastation. He's screaming for Dr. Lee, for Taejin, for anyone. And when he lays me on the couch, I can see his hands are covered in blood, but not mine. Someone else's. I should have killed him, Miho says to someone off camera, probably Taejin. I should have ended this years ago. You did what Jaiwan asked, Taejin's voice responds. He made you promise not to kill Sung. You kept that promise. And look where it got us. My brother almost, Miho's voice breaks. If I'd been 5 minutes later, 5 minutes and I would have lost him forever. The raw anguish in his voice isn't something anyone could fake. I'm still processing the videos when Haeun visits. They bring coffee and pastries, settling into my room like old times, except I don't actually remember any old times. Have you decided what you're going to do? They ask carefully. About what? About Miho. About this marriage. About whether you're going to try to get your memories back or just start over. I hadn't realized starting over was an option. Can I even do that? Just forget the past 5 years and build something new. Haeun hesitates. Jaiwan, before the accident, you told me you were planning to leave. You'd been secretly saving money, gathering documents. You said you couldn't live in Miho's world anymore, that it was destroying you piece by piece. My stomach drops. I was going to leave him? You were terrified. You said Miho was changing, becoming more violent, more possessive. You said you felt like a prisoner dressed up as a wife. Haeun takes my hand. But that was before I knew about Sung's attack. Maybe you were planning to leave because you were already traumatized and didn't feel safe telling Miho the truth. Nothing makes sense. Every answer just leads to more questions. That night, I confront Miho again. Was I planning to leave you? He doesn't even look surprised by the question. Just, I knew. You weren't as subtle as you thought with hiding that bank account. And you just let me plan my escape? What was I supposed to do? His voice is tired, resigned. Lock you up? Force you to stay? You were miserable, Jaiwan. I could see it eating away at you every day. The violence, the danger, the constant fear. I told myself that if you really wanted to go, I'd let you. Even if it killed me. But Sung attacked me before I could leave. And after, when you were recovering, you stopped talking about leaving. You were too traumatized to go anywhere. And he swallows hard. I was too selfish to push you away even though I knew staying with me was hurting you. I realized something then. You blame yourself. For all of it. Of course I do. If I just killed Sung years ago when I had the chance. If I'd been honest with you from the start instead of thinking I could protect you by keeping you in the dark about the worst parts of my work. If I'd been strong enough to let you go, his voice cracks. You wouldn't have been in that car. You wouldn't have almost died. You wouldn't be looking at me right now like I'm a stranger you're afraid of. Before I can respond, the penthouse alarm starts blaring. Taejin bursts through the door, gun drawn. We have a breach. Sung's men are in the building. Miho immediately moves to shield me, pulling his own weapon. How many? At least 6. They're coming up through the service entrance. Get Jaiwan to the safe room. Now. But I'm frozen, a fragment of memory suddenly surfacing. This has happened before. 6 months ago. Sung's men breaching the building, Miho pushing me towards safety and then. No, I hear myself say. Last time you sent me to the safe room, Sung was already there. That's how he caught me. It's a trap. Miho and Taejin stare at me. You remember? Miho asks, hope and fear warring in his expression. Not everything. But I remember that. The safe room isn't safe. Taejin's already on his phone, checking security feeds. Two of Sung's men are positioned outside the safe room entrance. It's an ambush. Miho's face hardens into something dangerous. Then we don't run. Taejin, get reinforcements here. We end this tonight. Miho, no. I start, but he's already moving, checking his weapon with practiced efficiency. I'm not losing you again, he says, and the absolute conviction in his voice sends shivers down my spine. Not to Sung. Not to anyone. Stay behind me and do exactly what I say. Cliffhanger. The lights suddenly cut out, plunging the penthouse into darkness. In the shadows I hear footsteps. Multiple sets. And then Sung's voice, amused and cruel, echoing through the darkness. Ready or not, little brother. Let's finish what we started 6 months ago. And this time, I'm taking what's mine. Emergency lights flicker on, casting everything in blood-red shadows. Miho's hand finds mine in the darkness, gripping tight. Whatever happens, he whispers urgently, whatever you see, trust that I love you. Can you do that? I don't get a chance to answer before the first gunshot shatters the silence. Everything happens in chaos. Taejin returns fire, glass exploding as bullets tear through the penthouse windows. Miho pulls me down behind the kitchen counter, his body covering mine protectively. How romantic, Sung's voice cuts through the gunfire. Still playing the devoted husband, Miho? Even though our little Omega here doesn't even remember loving you? Another burst of gunfire. I can hear Miho's men engaging Sung's throughout the penthouse. The sounds of fighting, breaking furniture, bodies hitting the floor. You can't win this, Miho calls out. I have 20 men on their way. Give up now and I might let you live. Sungless, you said that last time. 6 months ago, when you had me beaten and broken on your floor. And you still couldn't kill me. Because Jaiwan begged you not to. Your precious Omega made you weak. The words trigger something in my brain. Memories flooding back in painful fragments. Sung on his knees, Miho's gun pressed to his head. Me screaming, please don't. If you kill him, you'll never come back from this. Miho lowering the gun, his hands shaking. Get out. If I ever see you again, Jaiwan's mercy won't save you. I remember, I gasp. Miho, I remember that night. Miho's eyes snap to mine, desperate and hopeful. What do you remember? You let him live. Because I asked you to. Because I thought. The memory sharpens, becomes clearer. Because I thought there was still humanity in you worth saving. I was wrong. What? Not about you, I say quickly. About thinking mercy would change him. Sung, I can hear you. I call out. I was wrong to ask Miho to spare you. You took that mercy and used it to hurt us more. So here's my new answer, end this. Whatever you have to do, Miho. End it. Silence. Then Sung steps out from behind the bar, and I see him clearly for the first time. He looks like Miho but wrong. Same features twisted by cruelty, same strong build but radiating menace instead of protection. There she is, Sung grins. The real Jaiwan. Not the scared little Omega who begs for mercy, but the one who learned to survive in our world. I've missed you. I'm not yours to miss. But you could be. He takes a step closer, and Miho raises his gun. That bond between you and my brother? It's weakened. The accident, the amnesia, the emotional distance, bonds require maintenance, and yours is barely holding. I could break it. Claim you properly this time. You'd forget all about your devoted husband. The suggestion makes my skin crawl, but something else surfaces, another memory. Dr. Lee examining me after Sung's first attempt. The bond held, but barely. If he'd had another few minutes. Miho, pale and shaken, what do we do? Dr. Lee grim, strengthen it. But Jaiwan's been through severe trauma. Forcing bond reinforcement now could break him psychologically. That's why Miho moved to a separate room. Why he's been so careful about physical distance. He wasn't keeping me prisoner. He was trying not to hurt me worse by forcing intimacy I wasn't ready for. You don't want me, I tell Sung, everything clicking into place. You want to hurt Miho. I'm just the weapon you've chosen. Smart and beautiful. No wonder my brother's obsessed. Sung's smile turns vicious. But you're wrong. I do want you. I wanted you from the moment Miho brought you home, and I saw how he looked at you. Like you were something precious. Something worth protecting. And I thought, why should he have that? Why should he get the perfect Omega wife while I get nothing? Because you're a psychopath, Taejin interjects, weapon trained on Sung. And because Miho actually loves Jaiwan. You just want to own him. Same difference in our world. More memories crash through me. Not just the attack 6 months ago, but everything. Meeting Miho for the first time, scared but determined not to show it. Our wedding night, where he was so careful with me. Slowly falling in love despite every logical reason not to. Realizing I was happy, which terrified me because happiness felt like a weakness someone could exploit. And they did. Sung exploited it. Made me doubt everything. Planted seeds of fear that grew until I couldn't tell the difference between Miho's protection and imprisonment. I remember everything now, I say, and Miho's breath catches. Every moment. Every fight. Every time you made me feel safe. And every time I pushed you away because I was scared of how much I needed you. Jaiwan, Miho's voice breaks on my name. And I remember loving you. I meet his eyes, willing him to see the truth. I still do. I never stopped, even when I couldn't remember. Even with the amnesia, some part of me knew. Sung snarls. How touching. You'll forgive me if I don't wait around for the happy ending. He moves fast, faster than should be possible. Lunging toward me with a knife I didn't see him draw. Miho fires, but Sung's already too close. Time seems to slow down. I see the blade coming toward me. See Miho's horrified expression. See Taejin trying to get a clean shot. And then I'm moving on instinct, muscle memory from self-defense training I don't consciously remember taking. I sidestep Sung's knife, grab his extended arm, and use his momentum against him. The knife clatters to the floor. Sung staggers, surprised, and that's when Miho is on him. What happens next isn't pretty. It's brutal and efficient and exactly what needs to happen. Miho doesn't kill Sung, not quite. But by the time he's done, his brother is unconscious and thoroughly restrained. That's for touching what's mine, Miho says coldly. Police sirens wail outside. Taejin's already coordinating with their people in law enforcement, arranging for Sung to be arrested on charges that will actually stick this time. He's done, Taejin confirms. We have enough evidence to put him away for 20 years minimum. More if we push for attempted murder charges. As Sung is dragged away by police on Miho's payroll, the penthouse slowly empties. Taejin ushers everyone out, giving us privacy. I'm shaking from adrenaline crash, and Miho gently guides me to the couch. We sit in silence for a long moment, both processing what just happened. You remember everything? He finally asks, voice small and uncertain in a way I've never heard from him. Everything. The good and the bad. Everything. The good and the bad. I turn to face him fully. I remember falling in love with you. I remember our first real kiss, 3 months after the wedding, when you came home bleeding from a deal gone wrong and I patched you up. You said I didn't have to, that you had people for that, and I told you that maybe I wanted to. Miho's eyes are bright with unshed tears. You said, for better or worse, remember? Even if worse means bullet wounds in our kitchen at 3 a.m. I remember being happy. I continue, my own voice thick with emotion. Genuinely, impossibly happy. And then I remember the fear creeping in. Watching you become harder, colder. The violence escalating. And I couldn't tell if you were changing or if I was finally seeing who you really were. I was changing, Miho admits. The business was getting more dangerous. Sung was making moves, and I was trying to protect you by becoming the kind of alpha no one would dare challenge. But in the process, I scared you. I became the thing you were running from in the first place. And then Sung attacked me and everything shattered. The memory is clear now, sharp and painful. I blamed myself. Thought if I hadn't asked you to spare him before, none of it would have happened. The guilt was eating me alive. So you asked Dr. Lee to help you forget. Just that night. Just the worst parts. But instead, I gesture helplessly at myself. I lost everything. Including you. Miho reaches out slowly, giving me time to pull away. When I don't, he cups my face with trembling hands. Is it okay if I close the distance between us, pressing my forehead to his. Our bond, weakened and frayed, suddenly surges with recognition. It's like coming home after being lost for months. I'm so sorry, Miho whispers. For everything. For not protecting you better. For letting my world touch you. For not being strong enough to let you go when staying was hurting you. I'm sorry too. For running. For being too scared to tell you the truth about what I was feeling. For making you think you were losing me when really I was just... I searched for the words. I was just lost. Trying to figure out if I could be both, the person I was and the person I'd become living in your world. And now? Now that you remember. I pull back enough to look him in the eyes. Now I know that I don't have to choose. I'm not the scared Omega who got sold to clear a debt anymore. But I'm not some hardened Mafia wife either. I'm just me. Jaiwan. The person who loves you despite every logical reason not to. The person who's terrified of your world but refuses to leave it because leaving means leaving you. You can still leave, Miho says, though the words clearly hurt him. If that's what you want. I'll make sure you're protected, set up somewhere safe. You'll never have to worry about money or Sung or... I kiss him. It's not gentle or tentative. It's fierce and claiming and full of 3 years of love and 6 months of loss and the overwhelming relief of finally remembering what we are to each other. When we break apart, Miho looks dazed. I'm taking that as a no to leaving? I'm not going anywhere. Not anymore. I intertwine our fingers, feeling our bond strengthen with the touch. But things have to change, Miho. I can't live in constant fear. I can't watch you become someone I don't recognize. I know. I've been working on that. He pulls out his phone, shows me documents I don't understand at first. I've been transitioning the business. Moving away from the violent side, focusing on the legitimate operations. It's slow, you don't just walk away from this life, but I'm trying. For us. You started this while I couldn't even remember you? Of course. You asked me once, before the accident, what I would choose if I had to pick between you and the business. I said I'd find a way to keep both. You said that was the wrong answer. His smile is sad. You were right. So I'm making the choice now. Always you. Tears stream down my face. You're such an idiot. A dangerous, criminal, completely devoted idiot. Your idiot though? My idiot, I confirm. We spend the rest of the night talking. Really talking about everything we'd been too scared or too proud to say before. About his childhood that made him into the man he is. About my family's betrayal and how it shaped my inability to trust. About the future we want to build. I want to go back to school, I tell him as dawn breaks over Seoul. Before everything happened, I was studying art. I want to finish my degree. Then you will. Whatever you need. And I want us to see a counselor. Not Dr. Lee, someone outside your organization. Someone who can help us work through all of this. I gesture vaguely at the mess of our relationship. Whatever helps. And separate bedrooms stay. For now. At his hurt look, I quickly explain, not because I don't want you, but because I need to relearn us at my own pace. Without the pressure of expectations or bond obligations. Can you accept that? Miho nods slowly. As long as you need. I'll wait forever if that's what it takes. Over the following months, we rebuild. It's not easy. There are setbacks and arguments and nights where the nightmares come back and I can't stand to be touched. But there are also breakthroughs. Small moments of intimacy that feel earned rather than obligated. Haeun becomes a regular fixture in our lives, no longer worried I'm being held prisoner. Taejin teaches me actual self-defense instead of just the basics. I start my art classes and discover I'm good at sculpture. Creating something beautiful out of raw, rough materials feels metaphorically appropriate. Miho keeps his promise about transitioning the business. Sung's arrest creates a power vacuum he uses to reorganize, pushing out the worst elements and focusing on ventures that won't get anyone killed. It's still not completely legal, but it's progress. 6 months after I regain my memories, Miho knocks on my bedroom door late one night. Can I come in? It's your apartment, I point out, but I'm smiling. He enters hesitantly, and I realize he's nervous. Kong Miho, feared Mafia boss, is nervous. I was thinking, he starts, then stops. Tries again. Our wedding anniversary is next month. 3 years. Or 4 if you count from the actual wedding. The math gets confusing with the amnesia. Miho, you're rambling. But, sorry. He takes a breath. I want to do it again. The wedding. A real one this time, not a business transaction. Where you choose me because you want to, not because you're trapped or scared or running from something worse. My heart clenches. You want to remarry me? I want to marry you for the first time. Really marry. With your friend Haeun there, and Taejin, and anyone else you want. I want you to walk down an aisle toward me knowing exactly what you're choosing. Knowing all my flaws and failures and still deciding I'm worth it. You are, I say softly. Worth it, I mean, even with the flaws and failures. So is that a yes? I pretend to consider it, watching him squirm. On one condition. Anything. After the wedding, you're moving into my room. Not me moving into yours, you coming to my space. If we're doing this, we're doing it as equals. Agreed. Miho's smile could light up the entire city. Agreed. Our second first wedding is small and private. Haeun cries through the entire ceremony. Taejin gives an unexpectedly touching speech about love and loyalty. And when Miho and I exchange vows, real ones this time, written by us instead of recited by a judge, I mean every word. I choose you, I tell him, my hands steady in his. Not because I have to. Not because you're the lesser of evils or my only option. But because you're you. Flawed and dangerous and trying so hard to be better. Because you've seen me at my worst and loved me anyway. Because when I lost myself, you waited patiently for me to find my way back. I choose you, Kang Miho. Today and every day after. Miho's vows are shorter, his voice rough with emotion. I choose you, Han Jaiwan. I've chosen you every day since you walked into my life and refuse to be diminished by it. I'll keep choosing you until the day I die. And even then, I think my ghost will probably follow you around just to make sure you're okay. That's creepy, I whisper. You're marrying a mafia boss. Creepy comes with the territory. Later, after the celebration, we're alone in our bedroom. There's no pressure, no expectations. Just us, learning each other again. Hi, Miho says softly, like we're meeting for the first time. Hi, I echo. And slowly, carefully, we begin again. Teplug 2 years later. I'm in my studio, a converted space in the penthouse that Miho insists is much too small but I love, working on a sculpture commission when my phone rings. Jaiwan? It's Dr. Lee. My stomach drops. Dr. Lee only calls with medical results. Is everything okay? More than okay. The test came back. You're pregnant. The world stopped spinning. What? About 8 weeks along. Healthy and progressing normally. Congratulations. After I hang up, I sit in stunned silence. Pregnant. We talked about it, sure. Someday, maybe, if we felt stable enough. But I didn't think. Miho comes home to find me still sitting there, my hands resting on my flat stomach. Jaiwan? What's wrong? He's immediately alert, scanning for threats. I'm pregnant. He freezes. We're having a baby. For a long moment, neither of us moves. Then Miho crosses the room and kneels in front of me, placing his hands gently over mine on my stomach. Are you happy? He asks quietly. Because if you're not ready, I'm terrified, I admit. Bringing a baby into this world, into your world, it's scary. But I'm also happy. Really, genuinely happy. I cup his face, feeling our bond sing with contentment. We're going to be parents. Miho kisses my palms, my wrists, works his way up to my lips. I love you. So much. Both of you. We love you too. It's not a perfect life. There are still hard days, still moments where the past trauma resurfaces. Still nights where I wake up from nightmares and need Miho to remind me I'm safe. But it's our life. Built on choice and honesty and love that survived amnesia and violence and every obstacle thrown at us. And as I feel the first flutter of movement months later, our daughter making her presence known, I realize that sometimes the best stories aren't about perfect people finding easy love. They're about broken people choosing each other over and over again until the cracks become part of the foundation instead of fractures waiting to break. What are you thinking about? Miho asks, his hand joining mine on my now rounded belly. Happy endings, I say. And new beginnings. Those the same thing? For us? They're exactly the same thing. This story deals with themes of memory loss, trauma, abuse, and recovery. While Miho's profession involves illegal activities, the focus is on the relationship's emotional journey toward healing and genuine consent. The ending emphasizes choice, agency, and building a future based on mutual love rather than obligation.